Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool. Hope everybody are fine. And welcome to class 11 chemistry series. I am right now with the chapter structure of atom. So already there are many videos on structure of atom. Their video links are provided in the description. And today I am with one of the most important topic, and every topic from the chapter is important because it's a quite lengthy chapter, and good number of questions can come for the board exam as well as for any competitive exams like JEE, NEET, state-wise CET or whatever. Okay, so you need to concentrate this chapter a lot. And many are asking me like how many videos you do on this particular chapter. See, I am covering every topic in a detailed way as much as possible. Okay, I'm trying my level best to give you the best content from the chapter. Okay, because concept clarity is very important to crack any competitive examinations with ace. Okay, so I'm trying to give that best concept clarity, so it may take many more videos. Okay, so already maybe 12 to 13 parts are over. This is another part and many more parts are yet to come on a chapter, but trust me, you will get the best explanation in the videos. Okay, all your doubts gets cleared once you watch these videos, especially on Bohr's model of an atom and hydrogen spectrum. You have the beautiful videos. Okay, so take the maximum benefit out of it and share to your friends also and enjoy learning. Today I am discussing about number of spectral lines and also about limitations of Bohr's model of an atom. In my previous class, we studied everything about hydrogen spectrum, isn't it? Okay, so we know how hydrogen spectrum looks like. How did you get those many series of lines? What actually happened for the electron in hydrogen when you supplied energy from outside? And we studied about the Rydberg's formula, which helps in calculating the wave number of spectral lines, wavelength of spectral lines. From there you can calculate the frequency of spectral lines, energy of spectral lines. And we also discussed about what do you mean by the meaning of limiting line, the first line, right? All that is over. And now on hydrogen spectrum, we have already discussed good number of questions in the previous video, and another very important type of question you can observe here. Let me start with the question only. Okay, see, they may ask you something like this: how many spectral lines are formed when an electron de-excites from n is equal to 5 to n is equal to 2. Okay, or let me take n is equal to 1, right? So this is how the question they'll ask. Try to understand what exactly they are asking. See here, this is n is equal to 1. This is first energy level, second energy level, third energy level, fourth energy level, and this is our fifth energy level. Okay, say what actually happened was, electron initially it will stay here. By absorption of energy, it will go to n is equal to 5. That's what they are telling. Electron is here. And now there it will not stay for a longer time. It has to come back to its original position, right? That is what we call de-excitation. Okay, so during de-excitation, radiation is emitted outside, and that one when you record as a spectra, you will call it as line emission spectrum, right? Okay, so now electron actually was there in n is equal to 5. Okay, after absorption of energy, it jumped to n is equal to 5. Now from there it is de-exciting. It is coming to first shell. Okay, it can come in various possible ways. First way is directly it can come to first energy level. So when electron directly comes to first energy level, it emits a radiation, and that radiation actually, it belongs to Lyman series. You get a spectral line that belongs to Lyman series, right? Okay. Or I told you in the previous class, the electron without directly coming to the first energy level, first it will come to fourth, again from there it may come here, again from there it may come here, and again from there it may come to n is equal to 1. So this transition gives some radiation, this transition gives some radiation, this gives some radiation, and all those radiations can be recorded as spectra, and this leads to one spectral line, right? And there are many possibilities. Electron may come here, again from here it may come, and this transition leads to one spectral line, this transition leads to one spectral line, or electron may come here and from here, right? You see, this leads to one spectral line, this leads to one spectral line. Like that, you have to predict how many spectral lines you will get in a spectrum. Okay, say you can't always think of answer, by this logic, because this may get messed up and you will end up in giving a wrong answer. So we have a shortcut formula here. Okay, so this is a shortcut formula that I am telling you, and you can use this for this types of questions. Okay, so the formula is N2 minus N1 N2 minus N1 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, so what is N2? N2 is equal to higher energy level. That is from where exactly the electron is jumping. No, that level is N2. And N1 is lower energy level. Lower energy level. Okay. And now you can apply this formula for this question. So here what is N2? Higher energy level is 5. So which is a lower energy level? 1. Right. So apply this 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 plus 1. Okay. So divided by 2. So what do you get? 4 into 5 by 2. That is 4 5s are 20. 20 by 2. So you will get 10 spectral lines. You will get 10 spectral lines. That means the electron may jump to the original shell in 10 possible ways. Okay, it can involve 10 different transitions. Each and every transition will lead to one spectral line. Right? So you can't always predict by this particular logic. So better use this shortcut formula. Right? Okay. So if the question was something like this. Electron was there in n is equal to 6. De-excited to n is equal to 2. So how many possible spectral lines you will get? So for this, you can solve and put the answer in the comment section. Okay. So here, electron was there in 6th energy level and it has come to 2nd energy level. So how many possible transitions, how many possible spectral lines you will get? The same formula you can use, and here N2 is always higher. Higher number is always N2. Lower number is always N1. So N1 is equal to 2. Okay, so substitute in the formula, find the answer and post the answer in the comment. Let me check it out. So that is all about the very, very important model on hydrogen spectrum. Okay, so on this particular topic, questions were asked in the previous competitive exams. So you have to concentrate on this particular topic. So that is all about hydrogen spectrum that we have studied. Okay, now let us go to limitations of Bohr's model. See, Bohr has done so many things to explain about the structure of atom in a detailed way. He explained by taking hydrogen spectrum and everything. Okay, but still, I kept on telling you one sentence many times in the previous videos that you can use all the Bohr's formula. We have Bohr's formula to calculate energy of electron. We have Bohr's formula to calculate radius of shell. We can calculate velocity of electron. All these formulae can be applied for one electron species, hydrogen and hydrogen-like species. Okay, you cannot use his formula for multi-electron species. Whereas atoms, most of the atoms have so many electrons, multi-electron species only, right? So why we cannot apply Bohr's theory to multi-electron species? And what is the major problem with Bohr's theory? This is not the final theory. There are many limitations. But still, whatever he told was true, and it holds good only for single electron species. So now let us discuss about the limitations that Bohr's theory has. See guys, as I already told you, Bohr's model is applicable. This is very important point. Applicable only for single electron species. Okay, so what are the single electron species we have? One is hydrogen. Yes, helium plus is a single electron species, and lithium plus 2 ion and beryllium plus 3 ion. So it can be applicable only for these particular ions or atom. Okay. And another limitation, two more important words you are going to learn here. One is he could not explain anything about Zeeman effect. So what do you mean by this Zeeman effect? It means that splitting of spectral lines in magnetic field. So what do you mean by this? Suppose, imagine a particular atom or group of atoms. You supplied some energy, the radiations emitted and the radiations recorded as a spectra. Based on the spectral studies, he has given the model for an atom, right? Okay, so imagine this is what the spectrum you got for some element. Okay, there are many line emission spectrum, but the same element, when it was kept in a magnetic field, and when you record a spectra, each and every line was again split into two small lines. Each and every line, say this is the original line without magnetic field, but in presence of magnetic field, each and every line was again split into 2 or 3 lines. So why this splitting of spectral lines took place when you have recorded spectra in presence of magnetic field? This was not explained by Bohr. Okay, so that is what we say he could not explain Zeeman effect. So understand the word Zeeman effect. It means splitting of spectral lines in magnetic field. Similarly, such a splitting of spectral lines you can observe in electric field also. So that effect is called as Stark effect. Okay, so what do you mean by Stark effect? It is splitting of spectral lines in electric effect, in presence of electric field. Okay, so same thing in electric and magnetic field, spectral lines again split up into small lines. So why do this happen? He could not give an answer for this. So this is also one of the major limitation of Bohr's theory of an atom. And another limitation is there. You have the fourth limitation, that is Bohr could not explain anything about geometry and shapes of molecule. Okay, could not explain about shape or geometry of molecules. Okay, so you would be wondering, what do you mean by shape or geometry of a molecule? For example, you have a compound ammonia. Okay, say around nitrogen, actually hydrogen atoms are present in a particular fashion. They are not directed in however they want. Okay, so the bonds between nitrogen and hydrogen are arranged in a particular fashion in a space, and that gives shape for a molecule, or we say geometry of a molecule. Okay, so Bohr could not explain why molecules take up a particular shape or geometry. Okay, and he did not give any explanation about why there occurs chemical reactions between the two atoms, okay, or between the two molecules, right? So these were the limitations, major limitations of Bohr's model of an atom. So try to remember, applicable only for one electron species, Zeeman effect, Stark effect, and could not explain about shape or geometry of a molecules. Okay, so that is all about Bohr's model of an atom. So that's the reason we will study the final model of an atom, which was accepted by everybody, okay, which gives justification for all the limitations of previous atomic models. Clear? And that model is quantum model of an atom. Quantum model of an atom. Okay, and to study this quantum model of an atom, you need to understand about two important concepts. One is de Broglie equation, the other one is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Okay, see, there came a person called de Broglie, and he said a very important point about the microscopic particles. What he said was, a particle, especially a microscopic particles like electron, have both wave nature and particle nature, just like the electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation behaves like a wave and it can behave like a particle. Similar to that, our electrons or any particle that for that matter in our nature has two characters, it seems. One is a wave character, the other one is a particle character. Okay, so with this concept, there came a big revolution in the field of chemistry, and that led for the discovery of the quantum model of an atom. So we will discuss about this de Broglie concept. Okay, actually for telling this, people have put de Broglie in jail also, because when Bohr gave his model, everybody accepted Bohr's model happily. Okay, when they were enjoying the concepts of Bohr's model, this person came and told, no, Bohr's model is not true for multi-electron system. It's because our so-called electrons behave, they move like a wave, he said. Okay, see, what did Bohr tell? Our electron is like a particle and it is moving in a circular fashion in a particular orbit. But what he says is, no, this electron is not moving like a particle in a circular orbit. It will move like a wave, he told. It has a wave nature, just like a wave, how it moves. Our electron also moves around the atom, he told, right? Nobody believed that. People were very angry on him and they have put him in jail also. Okay, but that was true. It was proved to be true by various experiments. And there came another person called Heisenberg. Okay, and he told something about the electron. And based on these two concepts, a person called Schrödinger has given a quantum model of an atom. Okay, so all that we will discuss in the next class. So in my next class, the topic is de Broglie equation and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in a detailed way and with lots of numericals on them. With this, I am completing this video. Meet you in the next class. Do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you.